everybody, and welcome back to the Fairy Tale Family, where our goal is to put a little bit of magic into your everyday. I'm Chelsea, and today we're going to be talking about Disneyland. So if you've been following us here for any amount of time really this past year, you have definitely heard me talk about our upcoming summer vacation extravaganza to the West Coast, to both Disneyland and all the way out to Hawaii in Aulani. So I will link some of those videos above as well, but we've been talking about our August trip as if we are planning for it to happen. And a question we've been getting a lot, particularly on Instagram in my DMs, is why we're stopping. People want to know, why are we stopping in Disneyland before we head out to Aulani? So we live in Massachusetts, and it is a long flight from Boston all the way out to Honolulu in Hawaii. It's going to take us a very long time to get there. So people are wondering, why bother stopping in between if it's only going to elongate the time between where we are currently and where we want to be in Hawaii, especially because we will be toting along with us our 4-year-old daughter, Callie. So I thought I could answer that question for you today, and if you're thinking about a trip all the way out to the boondocks of Hawaii, why it might benefit you and your family to decide to stop somewhere kind of to break up the time. So the most logical answer to this question is the time difference. So between Boston, we live on Cape Cod, so we're about an hour and a half south of Boston. Between Boston and Oahu, which is where the Disney Aulani Resort is, there is a 6-hour time difference, which is huge. So for a child who lives on a schedule, you know, she wakes up at a certain time, she goes to bed at a certain time, she eats her meals at specific times, like the day is portioned out for her. So even an hour time difference, like even when we go through daylight savings, that can be really challenging the younger your kids are. I remember when Callie was a baby, like a baby, an infant baby, and I hated daylight savings because it threw off our entire nap schedule by that hour, and that made a huge difference in our lives. So the older she gets, the less it matters, but 6 hours is a huge time difference. So, and we're 6 hours ahead. So we're stopping in Anaheim and in Disneyland really, because that splits the difference for us. So that means that we'll be, you know, doing a 3-hour time difference for a couple of days and being able to adjust to that before heading out to Hawaii. So it's really to get us adjusted to the time without showing up there, because even Mark and I, we went just as adults 5 years ago, and I think I did pretty well with the time change, and Mark struggled a little bit. We had a rental car, and he would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go drive around the island, and I feel like I did an okay job being able to like go to sleep early, and then the longer we were there, the better it got. And we are there for a fairly substantial amount of time, so hopefully it will kind of even out. And the reason we're not doing it on the way home is because we kind of just want to, like, once we've decided to come home, you know, we want to come all the way home and spend that day readjusting rather than like breaking up the inevitable. I don't know if that makes sense. Going there makes more sense to me than breaking it up on the way back. Let me know how you feel about that. You can leave that in the comments below. Also, if you've ever traveled to a significantly different time zone with your child, I would love to hear about that experience, because I'm looking for all the tips possible, please. One of the other main reasons that we want to stop in Disneyland, and this is nostalgic, but because Callie has had the experience of going to Disney World twice, we want to be able to show her some of the original attractions that Disneyland offered. So there aren't, you know, when you research original Disneyland attractions, there aren't a ton of them left, but some of the ones we're really looking forward to, particularly we're looking forward to the Jungle Cruise. We have the Jungle Cruise book. Hang on, I'll show it to you. So Mark and I have of course done the Jungle Cruise before, and we did it this past Christmas, and it was one of my favorite overlays that Disney has done. We bought Callie this book, the Jungle Cruise book, maybe 2 years ago, but this was narrated or written by John Lasseter. Like, it comes with a CD that we don't have anymore because who has CDs? But it's basically all of the jokes of the Jungle Cruise. And when we went on the Christmas edition, like, the language in here really held up. So Callie loves this book. We have read it to her time after time. And we're looking forward to having her go on the Jungle Cruise. And now that she understands that they're not real animals, she's excited about that too. And personally, my favorite attraction in Disneyland is the storybook canal riverboats. And that's an original attraction to Disneyland as well. And I think Callie is going to love it just as much as I do. So we really want to show her some of the original Disney attractions and, talk through that process. But we also want to be able to show her kind of the duplicates to Disney World and get her opinion on which ones she likes better. Not that she's done a ton of them in Disney World, but I think it'll be kind of a nice touch point to have conversations with her about Disney, and talking about the differences. And like, Small World is outdoors in Disneyland as opposed to in Disney World, where of course it is lovely and beautiful, but it's inside. And that outside element in Disneyland just like really kicks things up a notch, especially if you're from somewhere where you can't be outside year round or you will freeze. So I think she's really going to like that. And as parents who love Disney, it's such an exciting thing to be able to expose her to both. So that's another reason why we are planning to stop in Disneyland. We've also never stayed on property in the land. So when we go to Disney World, we always stay on property. We're Disney Vacation Club members, video to come, and we always stay on property. It's kind of part of the experience for us. But in Disneyland, there are so many good neighbor hotels, and I actually lived in LA in 2008 for a bit, so I had an annual pass and I would drive from LA to Anaheim, and I never needed to stay on property. So it's a huge perk for us to be able to go out there and stay on property. And actually, we booked the Disneyland Hotel, which I am so excited about. I can't wait to go on that monorail slide. But we are really excited to be able to stay so close to the magic. Even when you stay on property in Disney World, if you stay as close as we do at Bay Lake Tower, for example, where you can walk to Magic Kingdom, you still have to do that little walk, right? But when you stay on property in Disneyland, it's like you kind of leave the front doors of your resort and the parks are right there. So we're pumped to be able to stay on property. Definitely there will be videos to follow on why we're staying where we're staying and a full-on review and is it worth it financially, but we're psyched to be able to stay on Disneyland property and compare that to what it's like to stay in Disney World and on property there. And this one is kind of a smaller reason why, but we're looking for a very different dining experience. So in Disneyland, like the cafes and the quick service restaurants, the quick service booths in the restaurants are allegedly more upscale than the Disney World versions. So we're excited to try that. They have a lot more fresh fruit available out in Disneyland, and they have some really exquisite fancy dining options too. Not that Disney World doesn't, they do. Like a Victoria and Albert's is a fancy exquisite dining option. But we're looking to have some different dining experiences than we do in Disney World, because we tend to revisit some of the same restaurants because we love the experiences there so much. So this will be kind of a newer experience. And I did mention before that I lived in LA in 2008, and so I haven't been back to Disneyland since. And so many things have changed since 2008. And I remember when Cars Land was getting built, and it was this huge thing that like the architecture of Cars Land looked exactly like the film, and I am still super excited to see Cars Land because we've never been there before. So it's just like these new experiences that we don't have in Disney World, we want to be able to experience all that Disney has to offer. So we're going to stop for just a couple of days, 2 to 3 days max, before we head on to the main portion of our vacation, which is in Aulani. And I'm going to throw in one more reason that just, if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, ignore it. But it's In-N-Out Burger. Okay, an animal-style In-N-Out Burger is reason enough, I think, to land the plane, hop off, run through LAX, run to In-N-Out Burger, eat, and get back on a plane. Honestly, I think In-N-Out Burger is worth it by itself. But as someone who lived there and who had the experience of getting In-N-Out Burger as frequently as I wanted to, and definitely too many times, ooh, I miss it. No fast food on the East Coast, not a single chain compares to In-N-Out Burger. So I'm very excited for that, and I can't wait to split a cheeseburger with Callie. The best part of Mark coming to visit me when I moved, okay, that's not true. It's not the best part. Obviously, he was the best part. But one of the perks of Mark flying out to visit me when I lived in California was that every time I would go pick him up at the airport, we would get In-N-Out because it was right next door. So, tip, if you're flying into LAX and you've never had In-N-Out Burger, it is worth getting the rental car to go over and get it. So we'll just leave that as our last reason, okay? Okay. Friends, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you are having a magical day, and I hope that you've been enjoying our content lately, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.